we've talked about a lot. We could talk about so much more, man, but it is what it is, man. We are certainly going to put some things into play, whether it's finances, we'll measure it by how much money people are making with the recommendations. You know what I'm saying? I told people to invest in Tesla years ago that, people made 10x. Bitcoin,
Yep.
people made 1,000x. And the different investments that I have, I mean, it's easy once you kind of understand some things, but
Right.
let my worth be judged by my results. Nothing else, not my words, not how passionate I could speak, not how good I could put words together. But if I'm talking about health, am I really healing people? Go look to
Right.
see what Heru's doing. I'm talking about wealth, am I helping people make money? That's what it boils down to. And so when we start looking at people from a results based approach, well, then the people who want to be in front of the people are now motivated to create results, not fancy talking.
Mm.
See, when the people demand results and start judging people based on results, it creates an economy of results givers.
Right. And
You see what I'm
especially,
saying?
and then when you incentivize them, then it 10x's it. It's a network effect. Henceforth, why those Shark Tanks and those Orca tanks are needed, because we would draw more people out when we have a bag waiting for them, when we have a grand prize, when we incentivize them, when we say, "Yo, we got
Exactly.
10,000 for the best vibe coded app. We got 10,000, 100,000
Mm-hmm.
for the person who comes to this hackathon
Mm-hmm.
and is able to solve the problem of homelessness through the factory business model, taking the unhoused and utilizing them as the workforce or sweat equity or the gig workers at factories. So we now
Right.
have we now can house them in a factory that could double as a workspace. Now the unhoused solves because they could be fed, they could be sheltered,
Mm-hmm.
and they could basically have a gig on a daily basis where they could earn from the minimum of $100 to $1,000 based off of their output or their sweat equity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with all of that. And we're going to get to a point, we're hoping in the next 5 years or so, where we can be our own banks for each other. And what I mean by that is that, this is what the Jewish community does. And I've been able to watch them throughout the years. I used to work for a guy in Miami as the general counsel to a company that would subcontract Chinese factories to manufacture heavy equipment like forklifts and stuff like that.
Mm.
Right.
And the guy was a Jewish guy. And whenever he had cash flow problems, he could call another guy. The guy's name was Roy Jonas. Roy Jonas owned a bank.
Mm.
Roy Jonas is his fellow Jew. Roy Jonas would come to the office in flip flops in a 1985 Ford Taurus. So he owned a bank.
Right.
And every time the guy who owned the company needed cash flow, he could call Roy Jonas and get the money. He didn't do credit applications. He could call a guy who owned a bank and help him out with his business that hired about 50 different people because he was short on payroll because of cash flow issues because the Chinese might not have delivered the forklifts on time or it was held up in a port right now, so he wasn't able to get his letter of credit paid off and all of that. And so Roy Jonas would come and fill in the gaps for him economically. And this is where we're going to get where there will be a day where red pill or blue pill calls me and says, Heru, I got this initiative going to do this housing work, but I'm
Mm.
short on cash for the next 2 weeks. You can loan me 2 million.
Right.
And I say, yeah, man, no problem. There you go. And I know I'm going to get it back. You know why? Because I know that you've mastered business just as well as I have. This is
Right.
why the Jews loan each other money. It's not just because they're Jews, because they know that in their culture, mastering business is one of the traits of being a man.
Right.
Mm.
Mastering business, finance, and money and technology is part of their identity. And so they have no problem loaning each other money because they know they're coming from the same place of expertise.
Mm,
So it's
right.
not just because I'm loaning it to my fellow
Same
Jew, I'm
standard.
lending it to somebody who I know is competent.
Right.
So when
Competent.
we create that circle now, when blue pill calls me or red pill calls me, or I call you, you know, Heru's good for the money because Heru knows what he's doing. It's not just loaning it to him because he's my friend or he's my brother or whatever. I know that he's going to make good on this, not only because of integrity, but because he actually knows what he's doing business wise.
Mm.
Until we create that confidence amongst each other, we're always going to be out of the loop and not feeling dependent on each other for each other's success and survival. See, we're not tied economically to each other. That's why we can so quickly abuse each other. But if my economic success is tied to your economic success, I'm very quiet about criticizing you.
So I think that'll be a great segue that we can actually pivot for next Thursday show, that we can actually start on that note. What are some of the steps that we could, each three of us could be responsible to come with our own, treatsy, or you know, um, our own report on the steps, the viable steps that we can take to bring together these quote unquote different entities and different businesses, and make some things happen. Because automatically, when you said about us becoming a bank, I was like, yes, the black satoshis will be our banks. The black satoshis, the brothers who stacked up the bitcoins, the brothers who stacked up the crypto, that are not putting their names out there. They're not just jumping out there because they know that that's career suit. You can't out yourself like that. But they're in the back. They're in the background. They're in my inbox. I get emails from them. Black Satoshis, the ones who racked up them coins. Those are the viable bankers in the future, along
Mhm.
with others.
Yeah, and I mean, we already have a platform for that, and I think that I'll bring that to the table. We can sit down and look. But basically, it's an African Shark Tank.
Right,
So it's like, there's a few rules involved, and you've just got to be someone black, and you got to not want to disrespect Africa, and look to actually do something in Africa, not just specific to Africa, but like we understand where it's at. We understand where the rubber meets the road. We also understand that $10,000 to do a business in America is quite different than $10,000 to do a business in Africa. The money
fact,
just stretches longer. And what we want to do is we want to start siphoning money from the West or from white people's countries into black people's countries. You
right,
understand? So that's how you develop. And so we want the investment dollars to actually do what they're supposed to do. But we also want people to understand that the only hope that we have is to have a strong continent. Like there's no way getting away from that. Like people want to like get away from that and like dodge that issue because some people are just allergic to Africa for whatever reasons. But
right,
strategically, militarily, resource wise, that's where it's at. And so the bottom line is that um, we have a Shark Tank, and there are people doing initiatives that people can invest in and get a return on investment, and have an investment program where you can put your money in, and people who are doing business have a schedule to pay you back. And the more success we have, that the more trust we build. So I'm not asking anyone to trust blindly, because we've had too many heartbreaking stories of people trusting people in the so-called community and being completely disappointed. And our names are just too important for us not to be able to deliver to our people. I'd rather sell my house and sell a car than to owe someone money.
right,
You understand what I'm saying? So the bottom line is this: it does exist. Brother Baudelaire has a group of 30,000 people already on his website, just like Facebook. And of that, we're getting a good percentage of them going over to BB2Me investments. And every 3 months, we are having business pitches and proposals from anybody who is of the African family worldwide. We love that you want to do a business. If you're going to do a business in New York, whatever, that's fine. But we ask you to look to do something in Africa as well,
right.
because what you're going to find out is that you're going to make more money in Africa, because Whatever you're doing in America, you can do it in Africa, and it's not as saturated.
Mm.
It's not as
It's
saturated in
newer.
Africa. So it's
Right.
like there's a lot of advantages to being international. There's a lot of advantages to it, man. But also knowing that you have a family and resources elsewhere in case things get tight for you in America, you got to get out of the country. You need to have another place that you have roots in. You understand what I'm saying? Like hedging your bets on America right now is a
Mm.
very, very, very unwise position to be in based on everything that's going on. You
Yeah,
want to
Kelly.
hedge your bets in a different way. So Africa is a great hedge, man. Or the Caribbean if you want. For some reason you're allergic to Africa, you'd rather go to the Caribbean. You can go ahead and do that too. But just have alternatives and learn how to do business in different jurisdictions outside of America, outside of the reach of America. So we have a lot of that on deck. We can talk about it. We can show people it's already going. We're actually having a meeting. I'll invite you to the meeting. We're having the first investor Shark Tank meeting this Sunday with a
Oh
BB2
man,
meeting.
look at the
Yeah,
timing
I'll
on
give you
that.
the link. I'll give you the link. It's at 3 p.m.
Yeah, look
Eastern.
at the timing on that. I would
Yep.
love. I'll be
And
honest.
there's a brother, one of the brothers presenting is a brother named Dre Taylor, who's out of Kansas City, who's been in Ghana for the last 2 years building beautiful homes. And
Yes.
now he's doing some type of gold business that he wants people to invest in. And he's raised millions of dollars to build people's homes. And
Okay.
you should see he's on Instagram. Just put in Dre Taylor, Ghana. There's I forget what the Instagram is called. Anyone can look at it. But this is a brother who he's killing it in Ghana right now.
Mm,
He's killing it business wise. I mean, he's doing millions of dollars worth of real estate construction and development on his own.
right.
And he's going to be making a presentation. There's another sister from America, a sister who is in Ghana now, who's building $100 billion city in Ghana, and she's a bond lawyer. So she's a lawyer who has expertise in municipal bonds. She's been able to get bond money where now she's building a city in Ghana. She's making a presentation on Sunday
You
with
said
a
a
BB2
hundred
meeting.
billion dollars.
$100 billion, yes. And these are the type of people we're dealing with. So this isn't like, you know what I mean? Like we're dealing with real movers and shakers who already know what the homework assignment is. We have an ancestral homework assignment, and those of us who understand it are getting things done. That's what people just need to know. Please understand that if you see people fussing and fighting and talking about celebrity this and this and ego stuff, please understand that there are some of us in the background completing our ancestral homework assignment.
Yes, sir. And with that being said,
That's him there, Dre Taylor. That's him. Yep,
yep.
Dre
And with
Taylor.
that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for this monumental show. Thank you for your time on this wonderful Thursdays, ladies and gentlemen. Third Eye Thursday Part 2 with the health featuring Heru Ofori-Atta. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, that's it.
And Brother Blue Pillar 44 and Brother Red Pillar 44. We will see you in New Orleans, ladies and gentlemen. The road to New Orleans is paved in gold. All right. It is paved in gold. This brother will be back to talk about the wealth component of what we will have. And the wealth is the Health is Wealth Expo. The Health is Wealth Expo, New Orleans. All right. No, October the 18th. October the 18th.
Got a good month from now.
Got a good month from now. So tell a friend to tell a
Countdown
friend.
has begun. Yes, y'all.
We are looking for volunteers that are in the New Orleans area. We are looking for volunteers. I'm gonna leave my email right here. Um, we will have. Let me put it right here. Yep. Just send us an email, and we'll let you know everything that we are looking for. All right. Shout out to all of my New Orleans family. Shout out to my good brother Intricate. Um, all of the New Orleans fam. Shout out to Jefferson and salute to everybody. All right. I also want to announce that this book right here is on Buy Me a Coffee. This is our good brother Hit Sayu. He was on earlier. Another classic episode, a classic